Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So finally, after what seems like years of players asking, Gran Turismo 7 has a JGTC event. Yes, Polyphony finally did it, and not really in the normal sense. It didn't come as a menu book or a very much set in stone event. It's actually come through as a special event, which gives it room to be expanded upon at least a couple of events every few months or so, and it is absolutely incredible. It's the type of event that features a very rich mix of both road cars and race cars. Everything from Ferrari F40s all the way up to the likes of the NSX, Nissan GTR Skyline R35 and Toyota Supra GT500s, as well as some very special editions such as Lamborghini Diablos, as well as some of the Nismo GTRs from the early 90s, all kitted out in those JGTC body kits. So as the roster of the car list has finally, grown and spread out, and we've seen more of these classics return. Obviously the most recent addition is that GT500 NSX, which kind of brings together the holy trio of JGTC race cars with the Tom's Castrol Supra, the Pennzoil GTR, and of course that Mugen NSX with the Castrol sponsoring. I do feel like this really wouldn't have worked when the game first released, but since there's been so many incredible additions, we basically finally have that entire JGTC grid right there on offer. And the cool thing as well, this mixes some of the absolutely incredible road cars in the game with some of the most amazing race cars as well. It honestly feels like event perfection. So let's head over and have a glimpse at what this event actually is. As you can see, it is a special event, and this first iteration of what is probably going to be an event that will go on over time, just like we typically see with these, takes place at Fuji International Speedway and is, well, titled the All Japan GT Car Championship. In terms of the event itself, it's a 10-lap race with 16 vehicles. Payout is rather quite low, and then we do have a main rival selection full of everything from 1990 Nismos, GT500 machinery, and of course the McLaren. And in this video we're going to try something a little bit different. I thought I'd build up a car that isn't actually shown off in this race. This is of course the Subaru Impreza with that matching livery of the Cusco variety. I think most of you guys will probably know that bright black one. This is of course from the JGTC era, and as you can see we've just built it up to be a fairly competitive road car turned race car, whilst keeping it a rather moderate power, putting it on racing tyres and getting it more dialed in for Fuji. So we're going to aim to try and take this Impreza up the grid and battle away with the likes of the Nismos, Supras, McLarens and Hondas. So as you can see, we're going to try and make our first move at turn 1 down the inside of the Tom's Castrol Supra. Now this car didn't run very well in the race that we had here, however you will see it mix up between sort of the front of the grid and the back of the grid. In terms of the actual race, we're going to go side by side here with the Castrol Supra, and we are going to eventually get our first position made up to put us in to P15. Again, the Supra is going to try and hang it around the inside, get that cut back, but we're going to defend that one off and ensure that we have that position in the bag. Up next, a little further down the road, we have a pairing of Nismo GTRs, of course the 1990 model here with the massive wide rear wing on it, the huge rear body arches and such. It looks absolutely incredible, and this is an example of one of the road cars turned race cars, and we're going to battle away with a pair of them. Of course they also match us with four-wheel drive as well, so we don't have the advantage of getting the drive out of the corners, but hopefully with a bit of a slip we can get alongside the Nismo and hopefully outbrake it. So here we go down that huge long straight at Fuji. We're going to try and pull out of the slip and get this move done. It's looking like the Nismo just has that little bit extra horsepower in a straight line, but we're going to try and outbrake it. We're not going to quite get this one done. We're trying to be as careful as possible, eventually getting the drive out of the corner and tucking back in to the slipstream. Again, we're going to look for a great position to make the move, and here we go into the left-hander. We're going to put it down the inside. The Nismo's just going to run that little bit extra wide, and we're going to get that one done and dusted. So there is one of the Nismo's overtaking. It looks absolutely incredible with that body kit. And we're going to go ahead and chase down the second of this pairing. It did get a bit of a slight gap, but once again, we're going to try and outbrake the Nismo here, and we're going to quite easily get this one done and dusted. This one not putting up a much of a fight in comparison to the one that we previously overtook. And then once again, a little bit further down the road, we do have another example of a road car turned into a JGTC race car. Of course, I'm talking about probably one of the most eye-catching cars on the grid, those absolutely stunning Lamborghini Diablos. So whilst this battle with the Diablos going on, I do want to touch on the actual vehicles that are here themselves. There is a few of them that are pretty much official JGTC liveried vehicles, as well as the overall official ones, the likes of the Thomas Castro Supra, the Honda NSX, the Pennzoil GTR. They're all there, but you may notice that some of these cars do have very much the replica livery on them, but not quite the actual perfect livery itself. And again, it does seem to come down to licensing as well. It's a little bit of a strange one, because cars such as the NSX GT500 with a Mobile 1 livery, that is very much there, but then some of the other vehicles do very much have liveries with sort of made up branding. One of the, I guess, biggest examples of this will be the Calsonic GTR, that does have sort of made up branding all down the side. So whilst it isn't absolutely accurate, and it does seem to come down to licensing issues, it's probably the closest thing we've ever seen to a full JGTC grid in Gran Turismo history. Again, whilst there's a lot more cars to the previous iterations that featured these cars as far back as Gran Turismo 1, 2, etc., it is absolutely incredible to see them here in 2024, even if it isn't as accurate as it once was. However, we're going to go back to what the Impreza is up to at this point. We're going to have a massive side-by-side battle here with a Ferrari F40, one of the most eye-catching and absolutely beautiful cars out on this grid. And it's going to take us almost an entire lap of side-by-side racing, but we do eventually get that move done and dusted. Next up the road, we have a pairing of Toyota Supras. These are the GT500 race cars. Again, they've got slight alterations in terms of their liveries, but you can certainly tell what they are. I mean, the very obvious one is right up ahead of us, which is of course the Denso Supra. Again, we're going to then try and outrun them. They do have relatively low overall top speed in comparison to the likes of the road cars, and that is one thing I did notice. A lot of the race cars insanely fast through the tight and twisty sections, again losing out where their less downforce reliant cars are absolutely flying down that main straight. However, again, because of this whole mix of road and race cars, there isn't the ability to actually have fuel and tyre wear on this. It just wouldn't make sense, and it wouldn't exactly work, considering the race cars can go forever and the road cars will be pitting every couple of laps at max horsepower, because they would absolutely drink fuel. So I know that is a bit of a downside for a lot of people, but it is understandable why Polyphony had to do this. But in terms of the race itself, if you're getting some competitive machinery and you're going to try and build one of those JGTC cars that you might not see on the grid, you can have a fantastic time. In terms of the Impreza though, we did manage to take away a P6 in the end. Right towards the end there, as you can see, those Supras massively closing in terms of their overall pace. So let me know what you think of this event. I think it's absolutely incredible, and since it's a special event, I'm pretty sure we'll see plenty of these down the line at the likes of Kyoto, Suzuka and such. So really enjoying this one. Props to Polyphony for finally getting those JGTC events in. Let me know what you think. Have a fantastic day. Take care, guys. Peace.